All right, what's up? Welcome, everybody. As you know, it is Monday. Hope everybody had a really amazing Father's Day yesterday. I hope all the dads got their fair share of love. All the moms who raised a child without a dad got her share of her Father's Day gifts and love and acknowledgement. I love calling my mother as well, and wishing her a happy Father's Day, as well as all the amazing mentors that I had that had no relation to me, who fathered me in different ways. Life is a series of mentors, so even if you happen not to have a child, or do have a child, but you mentor other people, happy Father's Day to all of you, and to your parents and your fathers. And if your dad happens not to be here anymore with you, I hope he's looking down upon you and very, very, very proud of you. So it's time for Powershift Your week, and let me pin this. All right, thank you, Terry, for wishing me a happy Father's Day. Thank you all for joining my Powershift Your week. You know that I do this every Monday at 1 o'clock. I'm a little late, only because I wanted to move locations. As you know, that we're all kind of doing a lot of handling ourselves, so I am the producer and everybody else. And last week I had a whole bunch of chickens running around behind me, so I wanted to avoid disturbing everybody with me chasing my chickens, because they're doing a great job. They're eating a bunch of ticks out there. Each chicken and each guinea hen eats about 1,500 or 1,000 ticks a day. And I live upstate New York, where Lyme disease is something that is really, really bad. But, you know, of course, I'm here now. I'm a little late, but always on time. So this time is, why do I do this? I do Powershift Your week to give you some things that are hopefully inspiring you, as well as inspire me. And I also learn from you as well. So thank you so much for all being here. And thank you for T-Mobile for presenting this episode of Powershift Your week, wanting to make sure, T-Mobile for Business, making sure that people out there are getting educated during these challenging times, so they become even more powerful as they improve, learn to pivot, learn to shift, and go back out there in the world. So thank you for T-Mobile for doing that. And after this, or even during this, if you just are so eager that you want to learn more, you can go to tmobile.com/business, and it has a bunch of great resources for you to keep empowering yourselves and educating yourselves. All right, so the first segment I like to open up always is a fact or something I've learned. Now, many of you will be young and you'll say duh to this, or many of you will not say duh to this. It seems like something that is common sense to everybody, but I think it's kind of like that. The thing I'm bringing up is the thing that when you do it so much, you say, well, didn't everybody know that? But believe it or not, you can learn from it, because a lot of people do not know this fact. Here is the did you know part of my show. I'm going to read this off to you. According to HubSpot, video is the #1 form of media used in content strategy, overtaking blogs and infographics. A lot of people don't believe in video. You're on here, obviously, because you do believe in video. But let's think about the visuals. And they say a picture states 1,000 words, and think about a video that you can use on your own site or anything else. But let's go back a little further in video. How was television really sponsored? Well, it was called the soapbox. Why? Because soap companies and those type of brands would then go on and sponsor a show, and it would end up blowing up their brands, the Procter & Gamble's of the world and all those, because it was the soapbox. That's where the word soap opera comes from, right? Because it was usually sponsored by detergent companies. Think about my history. You all know the story, or if you don't know, I'm going to tell it to you really quick. I took 10 t-shirts, and for something like 2 years, my partners and I would go around to video sets. We'd put them on artists or anybody like that, and they would shoot the video, and we would take it back and go put on another artist and take it back, put on another artist, take it back. I was still a waiter at Red Lobster, but all of a sudden I was known as a huge clothing company. All I had was 10 stinky t-shirts in my basement. That was the power, and that still is the power of videos. right? So you can understand the power of that. Now, you can be doing a lot of videos such as I'm doing right now. This video that I'm doing that going to probably be about 45 minutes to an hour, I can cut up in 10 or 15 pieces of content to send around and put on my site. Other people will share it and things of that nature. What can you do? We've also, a lot of times what we've noticed on my social media is we go into my archives and videos that I have shot in 10, 20, 30, 40, not 40 years ago, but 30 years ago, interviews. We take a little piece of that, we put it up, and we show where I was then, where I am today, how I was thinking then, how it led me to what I was thinking today, or how I was thinking then that wasn't smart. And listen, don't take yourself too serious, right? Because you're the only one thinking that you're that serious, right? And show that, I made some mistakes in my past, and show it to today. And people love seeing that. And we've noticed in the analytics that people really relate to that. They go, you know what? Thank you for showing me those old videos, right? It's kind of like the throwback Thursdays, right? So how can you use that for your benefit? Create videos. And remember, with your smartphone right now, you can do anything you want. Don't overthink it either. A lot of times people respond to videos and or content that is organic. If you're trying to sell something and you're like, oh, I just found this, and you see all these great lights and all this stuff around, people aren't stupid. You're not stupid. You're going to go, that's overproduced. They put a lot of money behind that. Sometimes just getting on simply and going, hey, check this out. I found this, or I like this, or whatever the case is. That's really, really powerful, because people know. People know that you're telling the truth, or they can see right through you. Also, don't do videos that are a lie. Don't go out there in front and act like this and all that, because somebody can expose you as well. Just be organic with who you are. Use it as much as you can. Get user generated content. Have other people give you videos, testimonies of your product, or testimonies of you, or testimonies of things you've done. I'm not talking about the people when you go and give to those who are in need and you have a camera on them and you basically are giving out something and you're like, look at me giving something to somebody poor. I'm not talking about those type of things. I'm talking about people giving you testimonies about you, your product, your services, or whatever case is, user-generated content, and in videos it's extremely powerful. So I think I've hit a couple of points that you hopefully can learn from, as well as share with me when you see videos that you like of me, when you see videos you don't like of me, when I'm making mistakes and things of that nature. That's the only way we can improve. All right. So that's the first segment, and I'm going to come back to that, of course. But now, segment number 2 is my motivation mix. All right, now you can always go to Spotify and check out my motivation mix list. But today I want to highlight somebody whose music he's been an activist for many, many years, an extremely talented man, one of my favorite artists, but Stevie Wonder and Master Blaster, Jammin'. I know as soon as I said that, many of you who are around my age just all started thinking dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And you're thinking about how it was a big time in our world, and there was a lot of unrest, such as these current situations going on, and that Master Blaster song will be jamming until the break of dawn, right? And you know why I love this song? Because first of all, Stevie Wonder is obviously talented, but he's been really on the front of civil rights ever since he has made it to the public stage. But the words, the lyrics, the lyrics in this kind of song is about fighting for what you care about, but you also need to take time for mental health and give yourself a break to reset yourself, because we're all stuck to the news these days. We're all hearing about all this stuff, but are you taking care of yourself? And within that song, he talks about, here's one of the lyrics: though the world's full of problems, they couldn't touch us even if they tried. They want us to join their fighting, but our answer today is to let all our worries, like the breeze through our fingers, slip away. Anyway, music brings people together, and this song is a great example of how it does, right? So make sure you go and check out Stevie Wonder's Master Blaster and Jammin', as a lot of us call it, on my Spotify list, where you can go out and check out all my motivational mixes. All right, now to our next segment, where it's the T-Mobile for Business Fan question and answer segment. I'm going to bring on HHI Corporation, and his name is Cliff. Now, I'm going to learn a lot from this guy here. This guy is doing what I call God's work, and I think you're going to be able to learn a lot from him as well. All right, so let me find him right now. But before I bring him on, I like to tell you his story before I bring him on. HHI Corporation, a construction company that is making COVID-19 infection disease mobile triage units, biocontainment systems for medical hospitals. That's a big word. What are they basically doing? They're making basically containment units for hospitals out of shipping containers, all right? The MTU was created in response to COVID-19 and provides a secure 100% self-sustainable area to house overflow patients during this time of crisis. And as we know, of course, I'm from New York. We started to see the overflow when they started sending the naval ships and things of that nature. We definitely need this. And I'm going to show you a picture of. See that? Look at that. That's a container. And if this second wave is coming, unfortunately, we're going to need Cliff's work. All right. So Cliff, the executive VP, is joining live and leading a team of construction engineers, professionals who focus on value-based engineering, innovation, project management solutions, and exceptional quality. I'm really proud of Cliff, and I'm really proud of myself being able to read all those big words, seeing the fact that I am dyslexic and I didn't stumble or drool. All right, so let's go to check out where Cliff is at. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am good. Let me put my headset in because I know there's going to be a lot to learn from you. Where are you at, Cliff?
I'm in Utah.
Utah?
We're in Ogden, Utah, just north of Salt Lake, and I'm sitting in my office.
All right. Well, good for you, man. So, thank you so much for being here, and hopefully you can educate. I know you're going to educate me. Hopefully you'll educate a bunch of other people here. Tell me more about what you do.
So we've been in business for almost 50 years, and we've been doing a lot of projects for the federal government doing biological and chemical containment. And about 5 years ago, we helped build a containerized biocontainment system that held the patients. Well, we built these 5 years ago, but we saw in the news about 4 months ago that they used the container to ship the people with COVID home from the Sea of Japan from that cruise ship. And we saw that and we thought, that's cool getting to see some of our products being used. And we build a lot of cool things. And we kind of got challenged to build something to help in the COVID response. More than just shipping people home, we had something that we could build that we could plant in a building or in the parking lot of a hospital and take care of an infectious disease wing. We can house a number of patients. The units we have, which you should show the picture, houses 11 patients and there's going to be 2 nurses that would take care of these and treat these people. And literally you can just set up in a parking lot to add to a hospital wing. We heard that there's a lot of need for it, and especially in rural America where they just have a small hospital of maybe 10 beds. This one would, 10-bed hospital, if someone had COVID, walked into it, they couldn't treat the patients with their other diseases. So we looked at this as be a great response to come up with something that could sit in a parking lot and supplement these small hospitals or even a large hospital. And we've had a lot of need for it. We've seen a lot of need, and we're just trying to get the word out that, hey, we build something that would help you in your response for this COVID response or any infectious disease.
How long does it take to build one of those units? Because let's say somebody needs one right now. Do you have the units on hand, or you just have to put them together? And do you supply the equipment to the unit, or does the hospital supply the equipment to the unit?
That's a great question. So we supply, everything's encompassed inside of it. So we have hospital beds inside of it. We have a nursing station. They're going to have to provide their personal protective equipment and whatever else they need, their laptop computers, so they can keep the records. But everything else is supplied. It takes us about 2.5 months to build one, and we build them to order because each place in the country is a little different what the rules and regulations of what's required at that location. So we want to make sure we build it to that location. Right now we're in the process of building one for a hospital in Miami, and they have the hurricane force winds. So you can imagine that's probably the most stringent area. We also could do it in a place where there's a lot of snow load. So we build products for around the world and around the country. And so it takes us a little bit of time. The cool part is it's 100% ready to use. It takes us, if you look at our website, HHIcorp.com, we show a picture of how we installed it. It takes 3 minutes on the video to install, but it takes a day, but 3 minutes on the video, and it's pretty cool. So we pull up in the parking lot and set it up, and literally 12 hours later, they're ready to use this. It's very portable, and we just add diesel fuel and water, and they're ready to use it. So it's pretty cool.
How does a municipality prepare for something like that if it takes 2.5 months? Do you have them in stock ready? Because again, we don't know where the potential new spikes are going to be. I mean, now we're seeing spikes in the most random places, right?
Yep.
And then if they got to wait 2.5 months for it, you obviously know this better than I do. By that 2.5 months, the spikes could go away, right? So how do you get people to say, you're on demand right now, and this thing may be coming back, and you need to prepare for this now?
I think you said it really well. We had the little wave, and now it's time to get prepared for what's out there next. So we're starting to build. We like to build to order, but we take orders, or we're going to be starting to put some on the shelf for the next wave. It's going to be, our production line can only handle so much production, so we want to get the orders in and have them ready, but we also want to get them ready for the state, wherever it's going to go. And we're just hoping that with this nice little break that we're having in the COVID-19, hopefully the municipalities and the hospitals are getting ready for what's going to come next, or what could come next.
Right. Well, I'm going to ask you one last question. I want to make sure that you're able to ask me whatever you want, so we can talk about this stuff. Somebody did have a good question though. They said, who pays for them, the government or private funding? Somebody did ask that. Can you answer that really quick?
Yeah, I'd love to answer that question. So we've talked to FEMA. We talked to at the federal level, we're talking to FEMA. We're talking to the states. We're talking to the hospitals. We're talking to the counties and the cities. And it's interesting that every one of those entities do one of these things. They point their finger and say, you know what, that other guy should buy this. They should have it be prepared. And at the federal level, they're basically saying it should be the state. And the state's saying, hey, it should be the county. And the counties are saying, let the hospitals do it. And then the hospitals are going back and saying, counties and cities, help us out. So the people have a lot of need for it. But what we're finding is the funding source, or somebody taking ownership and saying who should get it, that's where we're falling a little short. So we're trying to, it would be nice if somebody from the big level would say, guys, you're the hospital, buy it, or we're the state, we're the county, we're going to buy it, and we'll put it in the hot spot wherever it's at. So we're struggling to find out who should be buying it. It's a great question, and if you could tell me who we should be talking to, it would be great, because we talk to everybody, and they all point their fingers to someone else. So that's kind of frustrating. Whereas where you sold clothes, the people want to buy the clothes, they're the ones that are going to buy it. This is everybody wants to use it, but no one wants to buy it.
And another question is going to be probably about your inside knowledge, because I know everybody watching here is going to be concerned about their, what's coming in the future. And a lot of people, we have a lot of people out there that says, well, don't worry about it. COVID's not that bad. And, because, everybody wants to go out into the ballpark and eat a hot dog, and all of a sudden they could end up dying because they're just so locked up in the house, like all of us. But, from you talking to the industry professionals and things of that nature, what are they saying is expected? If there's a second wave, will there be one? Are they saying, oh, absolutely, when influenza comes around, it's going to be worse? Or did we peak because a lot of people got it, and now all of a sudden, if they all got it, then, what are you hearing? Because this is, you're talking to the people on the front line. As serious as it gets.
Yeah. So I don't talk to the Center of Disease Control, but I'm getting the report from the people that are talking to the Center of Disease Control. So from the federal level and also the state level, and everybody's saying the same thing. We're going to have our little bit of time to breathe in, and then this fall it's supposed to hit really heavy, and they're worried about the overflow capacity. Some hospitals didn't run at maximum capacity. In New York, they got slammed. Washington, California got slammed pretty hard, and now we're seeing they're seeing some of that outbreak kind of go to the rural areas, and that's the real hard hit places. What we're hearing is when it hits with the big wave, the rural areas used to be able to ship the patients to the bigger hospitals, and they had capacity. But what we're hearing is the projection is the big hospitals in the metropolitan areas, they may be okay if they don't get hit too hard, but the rural hospitals will get hit and they won't have the opportunity to ship the patients to the big hospitals. So deduction would tell you, well, what happens with the patient at the small hospital? If you go in with COVID, then the person having a heart attack and the COVID are going to get intermixed. When that happens, especially with elderly patients, there's a high probability of their death happening. So there's not a big plan for the rural hospitals, and they don't have the infectious disease wings. And the product that we have is basically an infectious disease wing product that can sit out in the hospital parking lot and work to that end. So you asked me what I heard. In some places, they think they're going to be okay. In other places, they're a little concerned because those hard-hit areas, they're not going to have enough beds to treat everybody. And that part makes me a little nervous of what is the real game plan for those areas. And talking to some of the state officials and the local officials, they're nervous because they're not sure how to handle the big overflows that they're anticipating with this wave, because they're anticipating it being bigger than this first time.
Got it. So, all right. So what questions do you have for me? Maybe because listen, I mean, you clearly got a much bigger brain than I do, because you're building things like that and you're doing God's work. So, but yeah, if you have any questions for me, maybe I can answer something.
Well, I just would ask you, who would I go to if you had any ideas, who would we go to sell these mobile triage units? We kind of started talking about it, but do you have any ideas there?
I don't, because it is challenging. We as a country weren't really prepared for this type of stuff, and I noticed that everybody was scrambling. I would think maybe I would think a lot of donors of a lot of donors and people who do give to a lot of the hospitals and things of that nature would probably be the easiest way to go about it. Because then you don't got to go through the politics, right? You go to the high net worth communities and you say, hey, we're able to, bring these things to your city, and you already are big in philanthropy and, all those type of people, the Bill Gates of the world and all that. And I say it's not easy to get to them, but there's a lot of people out there with these criterias who say, okay, I've put together a couple of billion to, be able to be in that space, and I can authorize that. Now, what happens when they get the unit? Do they keep it? And how much does a unit cost? Or do they rent it, or both?
So great question. So if somebody wanted to buy them, it would be theirs. So it's a bill, they would own it. Or if you're suggesting if a foundation wanted to buy it and hand it over to a hospital, then that would be the foundation would own it. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. The bill of sale and the property would go with it.
Have you sold any to any foundations at all, or has anybody stepped up with that, or are you been dealing more with municipalities?
That's a great question. So we actually donated the first unit to a group called the Global Surgical Medical Support Group. They are a bunch of surgeons, and they go and do surgeries for nonprofit across the world. And they go into a lot of places, harm's way, Iraq and other places. So we're gifting one of the units to them, and it's going to a hospital in Miami at the Jackson Memorial Hospital. So we're super excited about that. We're looking at other people buying them and trying to get them out there to the public. So just being on your show, I'm sure a lot of people heard about what's going on, and we'd love to help. If they want to help, any foundations, we would be glad. There's a lot of need. We've had a lot of people, the Navajo Nation in southern Utah and Arizona, they would love to have one, but they don't have enough funds to make it happen. We heard about that later on. And there's a lot of other places in the country that we're looking for one.
As I open up this discussion, or not this discussion, this Instagram live, I was talking about videos. How can you get user generated videos from, or maybe you have it already, of the doctors, of the people who have received them, who can validate how needed they were, and what they do, so that you can send that to the to all the other people out there that you're trying to bring, get their attention about.
That's a great suggestion. We have one set up out in our yard right now, and we've had a lot of doctors and nurses come through. When I heard your video segment, I thought I should have been filming them. It would have been, I didn't have any real big camera or lights or anything. I should have filmed it while they're walking through, but I have a few people coming this week, and I'm taking your suggestion. I'm going to film it because these are doctors and nurses that are going to use it, and they're super excited about it. So I'll put it on.
Yeah, and even if they're walking through it, that's fine. But the ones who've already seen it, the ones who've been working in these things, that you can ask them, can you do me a favor? Can you just send me a 30-second or a 1-minute video on your iPhone or on your smartphone, saying what you think about the product, and why it's needed, where the advantages, and whatever the case is, and put it up. I mean, I think that you may end up having 10, 20, or 100 videos, and somebody says, wow, look at all these medical professionals who are saying that this is of value, so we need to get this out of here. We need to get this up there, or bring it to other people's attention,
That's a great suggestion. Yep, I'll do that. Yeah, I did answer your question about the price. It's a $2.5 million price tag, and these things will last 20 years or better. That's the good part.
Yeah, hopefully it sounds like the military needs these things regardless, right? Because they can then bring them in, and but that's easier for me. It's easier for me to sit here. Oh, so forth needs it, but it sounds like they can bring them in, take them, send them to where all the hospitals need them, pull them back out in the case that we are in a conflict somewhere else. They can have the units ready, and and send them out.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly right.
So I want to ask you one last question. Really, I just want to know how did you get into this business? I mean, prior to COVID.
So I like to build things. I'm an engineer. Was up at school. I put a lot of projects. Worked in a machine shop, and put some of them. I was going through school and college, and I worked in a machine shop, and I was able to build projects that went on the Hubble telescope and on the space station. So really cool projects. And I love building things. And so I became a civil engineer, which builds bigger buildings. And I just love trying to build something that helps the public or helps out. So that's kind of where I got started. And our biggest thing is I like to solve problems. If somebody needs something built that they haven't thought about, and they come up with an idea. I know a client, they came up and they said, for 30 years we've been thinking about doing this test fixture for this chemical, but we didn't know we could do it. And we built it for them, and they loved it. And I love taking care of problems, and so that's what I got into. It's just a drive.
Engineers are always going to have a job. What's your advice to people who want to be engineers, especially females? Because I think the number is that 60% or 65% of the females that go to school for engineering drop out after X amount of, or don't follow through in the career because they don't have too many other females to help support them and or have dialogue with, and they find that it's not for them. But I think engineering is absolutely incredible. What advice would you have for people who are trying to, or thinking about it, or have children thinking about it?
I think that's a great question. So I have 3 of my kids are in college. One just graduated. Well, two of them just graduated. And one was in school in engineering for a while and loved it, but just said, you know what, I want to do something else, changed. And I respect her for doing that. So I'm going to give the advice. If you want to build something as an engineer, you got to go through the school. There's a lot of hard classes. It takes a lot of determination. But just know that when you get done, you get to go build some cool things out there. Whether you're a mechanical engineer, or civil engineer, electrical, there's a lot of good opportunities out there for people. The one suggestion I have for engineers, because I got to work with engineers across the country, and sometimes the best thing I can tell them is learn how to communicate with people. You're going to have to write, you're going to have to speak, you're going to have to give presentations, And every time you get an opportunity to write a paper, take the time to write the paper, not just be part of the team. A lot of times you get to work as a collaborative group, and I think those engineers need to take the time to learn how to write and communicate. There's a lot of times I get to work with engineers and I wonder what they just told me, and they're super smart, but I don't understand what they're trying to tell me. They can't write a sentence very well, or they communicate a little differently. So I just think as they go through school, work as a group, because in life you always get to work as a team, learn how to work as a team and be the biggest contributor in that team as well, and just learn how to write. Those are just, I get to go to a lot of schools and recruit, and that's what I tell all the engineering students. I said, be part of the team, because that's what you're going to work in a team for the rest of your life, and it's fun. Learn how to do it.
I think that's fascinating information, because a lot of people think that because their skill set is this or that the communication to other people doesn't need to happen because you're a scientist, right? You know how this works, and you're putting all this data down, data, and all the measurements and everything, but you don't realize you're too close to a lot of time. The person on the other side of the table, like you just said, I don't understand what you're talking about. And communication is the only thing that separates us from the animals, right? Being able to communicate. So whether you are a small business owner communicating with your customer, or you communicating with your team, or you communicating with your wife or your husband, or you communicating as an engineer with other people saying, listen, all of this is here, but I got to explain to you how this works and why this is really something that we can all, learn from and or utilize on the team. And I think communication is key. And I never would have thought that an engineer would say that, because most science and engineers and people are there super, super technical. They go, listen, it's all right there. It's all drawn. You know what I mean? Every rivet, every dot, every whatever. But that's really, really amazing. So do you have any questions for me anymore before we leave? Because I think that that last point of yours is extremely valuable, and we can all learn from that.
I just want to tell you thanks for what you're doing. I appreciate the opportunity, and just hearing a little bit about your story as I was checking what you do. It was fantastic, and I learned something from everybody I meet, and I absorb it. I love it because it makes me a better person. And just being around someone like you, I appreciate your advice and just what you're doing for the rest of us and what T-Mobile's doing for us. We appreciated the opportunity to be on this with them and with you.
I feel the same, man. Thank you. I mean, listen, you're doing God's work. You're saving lives. You're making it easier for our people on the front line. You're preparing, you're preparing us for what's about to come. I find it frustrating that you have to not be able to do exactly what you do best, but you have to more navigate the politics of how do I get to the right person, because what you have is so needed for everybody. But but I think you also brought up a good point that you know how to communicate, and I'm sure you're going to figure it out. So thank you so much for what you're doing, and thank you for T-Mobile for Business for bringing us together, because you just made me just a little bit more smarter today, man, and I appreciate you.
Well, it's all good.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Cliff.
All right, see you later.
All right, there you have it. Thank you, T-Mobile for Business, for introducing me to Cliff. I mean, that's fascinating information. I love the part about communication. I love the fact that he has something, and you got to find out who the buyer is. You got to find out how to navigate that, and you got to keep trying. So it's not only you. I know a lot of people here right now are going through the same thing. Who's the buyer? How do I get to what person in a corporation? Somebody called me the other day, and they were saying to me, "Hey, I have some really great designs, and I know you have worked with the people such as brands like Puma and Adidas, and I want to get it up there." And I was like, they were like, "Well, we're calling the president." I was like, "You don't call the president. You may call the head of design. You may call the creative director. You may call the foundation side. You may call the licensing side. You got to keep calling people. You got to keep calling people, and you're going to then figure out who it is that you finally need to get to. But just don't try one time. You got to keep calling people. Like he's saying, the hospital saying, is this person's job? This person's job saying this person's job. You'll get to it, but you got to keep trying. All right, so my challenge of the week in the last segment, because I know you all have a schedule just like me, and you're not taking this time off, even though it's very confusing these days. You're not taking it off like a Saturday. You are making sure that you work every single day and put in those hours, right? My challenge of the week is to take advantage of the fact that video is the most used form of media for marketing right now, and create video content that shows up your business, whether you have a product or service to offer. So make sure you go out there and you get user-generated content. You get people who are giving testimonies. You do videos such as this where you freestyle and just have a conversation with other great people. And when you get that ding, that light comes on and you learn something, you then chop those things up. What about old videos of you in the past? So try to get those things done. And remember, you don't have to overproduce them. Don't be too concerned. People love to see the rawness of it. People love to see, the true reaction a lot of times. And yes, if there are products and you're making a commercial, then learn how to produce it yourself. You're home right now. Look, I'm setting up lights and cameras and all these things. Learn how to do those things because video is not going anywhere. So make sure you use it to your advantage. And thank you all for being here. Remember, tomorrow I'm going on again at 1 o'clock. I don't see who is my guest tomorrow. I don't think I have it right here in my hand. Oh, Tasha, my friend Tasha, who is, she show you how to repair and or protect your credit. And Bethany Frankel, Bethany from Housewives, Shark Tank, but more importantly, Bethany, who is out there fighting the good fight against everything. An earthquake happens, Bethany is there. A hurricane happens, Bethany is there. Racial injustice happening, Bethany is there. So also thank you all for joining in, and please give me any of your feedback or anything you have for me. You can send it to email me at daymond@daymondjohn.com. And of course, thank you for T-Mobile for Business. Now remember, T-Mobile has resources as well that you can go and check out and get more information on how to empower yourself. So go to tmobile.com/business for those resources, and have a really amazing week. And thank you all. Thank you. And thank you, Neil Buy Real Estate. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Emil, Smart Veggie Foods. Definitely thank HHI Corporation, corporate, for all your work. Woven Not Sweat, Ethan, and thank you, everybody. I appreciate you, and I will see you all tomorrow. Later.